Jones finishes her hit piece by attacking Charlie for Turning Point's Professor Watch List, which invites college students to name professors who push leftist propaganda in the classroom. Good. We need an outlet for these students to complain, so fellow students can avoid these classes if they want to. She cites the case of Angel Jones, now a professor at a university in Maryland, whose work, Nicole says, focuses on educational inequity. It's a bit more loaded than that, Nicole. Stand by. Angel Jones landed on the list, writes Nicole, after publishing an article citing research about how distressing it is for Black people to go to work after witnessing news coverage of police killings of Blacks. If white people did that after Black-on-white crime, we'd never work again. We took a look at Angel Jones's scholarship, and here is what we learned. Her areas of expertise include racial microaggressions, racial battle fatigue, and gendered racism. Her work, she boasts, is grounded in critical race theory and critical race feminism. Nicole claims that Angel Jones received death threats after landing on the Turning Point list. I would cry, claims the professor. I was very fearful. I was anxious and afraid to go to class. After Charlie was assassinated, Angel Jones, quote, refused to mourn him, explaining, I cannot have empathy for him losing his life when he put mine at risk, just because I dared to advocate for social justice. So he endangered her life by putting her on a list of woke professors that students might want to avoid at her college? Sure. Just how bad is Professor Jones? She says she showed her class a video of herself bashing Charlie right after he was murdered. One male student took his backpack and left. Nicole is sure to point out in her piece, he was white, a white man who had the nerve to ask Angel Jones if she thought her message might wind up radicalizing students. After he left, Professor Jones tells us she was nervous. After all, there's a Turning Point chapter on campus. So nervous, in fact, she switched her classes to virtual. You see, she can dump on someone beloved by millions of Americans before he's even in the grave, while many of her students are still mourning, and proudly make her students sit and listen to that. But if there's any mild pushback, she is unsafe. She is the victim, always the victim. Maybe she couldn't go to work the next day, another day off, sensing a pattern. I don't believe her death threat claim. She didn't get death threats over landing on Charlie's list. That's BS. She's a liar, in my opinion. She lives her life enmeshed in social justice, and that is the lens through which she views everything. That means permanent victimhood if you are a woke Black woman. Whites are to blame for everything, and white males in particular are a threat to your very existence. Normal Black Americans do not think like this. They love everyone. They don't view race as controlling. Of course, Professor Jones could not stand Charlie Kirk, who devoted himself to ending this kind of vile race baiting and wanted people to see that race is just a social construct, that we all share the same basic DNA, that God loves each one of us, irrespective of skin color. By the way, the same poor victimized professor said after Erica Kirk's extraordinary act of selflessness forgiving Charlie's killer, quote, I wonder if she'd be as willing to forgive if the shooter were Black or an immigrant. These social justice warriors are deranged about race. They cannot see their fellow Americans, even a grieving widow, through anything other than a racial lens. Then she said Erica's promise to keep Turning Point going, quote, sounds like a warning of violence to come. Doesn't she sound lovely? This is Jones's poster girl for the sad Black woman victimized by evil Charlie's Professor Watch List. Then Jones raises a person named Ash Lazarus Orr, who has a similar sense of foreboding right now. Orr, she says, is a trans activist who, while never named by Kirk, says his violent rhetoric helped fuel an environment that makes transgender Americans vulnerable to violence. So basically, wherever Orr is, Charlie's thought crimes are endangering him or her, whatever. You see, it's the trans people who are vulnerable to violence, not Charlie, who was killed by a man dating a trans person who felt Charlie had too much hate. The New York Times wants you to be super clear on that. Orr is quoted in the piece saying no one should be killed for their beliefs, no matter how harmful those beliefs might be. But? There's no but, Nicole. There's no but after that statement, New York Times. No one should be killed for their beliefs, period. Orr goes on, but we are watching our rights being stripped away. We are having our friends' lives cut short. Your friends' lives are being cut short? I think you have that reversed, sir. And then Jones reiterates what she and Orr are actually mad about, that things are changing in America, in large part because of people like Charlie and their unapologetic adherence to the truth. Quote, in just a few short years, she writes, Orr has watched as the momentum toward recognizing the full humanity and rights of transgender people has collapsed. Put another way, the gender madness has been exposed for the evil it is, and people are running in the opposite direction. Thank God. Jones goes on, sadly concluding that, quote, Kirk's rhetoric of Christian white nationalism, anti-transgender, anti-woke culture war framing, this is not on the edge anymore. Well, Charlie was, of course, a Christian, and a nationalist. He did not consider himself a Christian nationalist, which he said many times, and which Nikole Hannah-Jones ignores. And yes, he was white, Nicole, and did not feel guilty about it at all. That really galls her. Jones wraps it all up, where else? On the premise that this is really Donald Trump's fault, because he called white supremacists in Charlottesville, Virginia, quote, very fine people. Really, New York Times? Just as we saw with the he wants gays to be stoned to death lie, this has been fact-checked even by the left-wing Snopes as a lie. But hey, New York Times, you do you. In conclusion, Nikole Hannah-Jones leaves little doubt what the premise of her piece is. Quote, there has been an extreme shift in America, she writes. The serious treatment we are seeing of Charlie's ideas confirms for Jones, quote, that white supremacy and racism is not just a conservative idea, but a legitimate one. So there you have it. White supremacist racism is a conservative thing, and Americans' love for Charlie marks an extreme shift toward white supremacy and racism. That was Charlie, she wants us to believe, a white supremacist and a racist, for saying true things about race, the trans movement, Islam, and immigration. Got it. What a dumpster fire. Shame on Nikole Hannah-Jones and shame on the Times for publishing this piece. Charlie Kirk was brilliant. He loved everyone and saw every person as God's sacred child. He did not believe in dividing people by race. He did not believe in ostracizing gays. He did not believe one could change one's biological sex, nor that people confused in this regard were not worthy of our love and attention. He believed in a strong border. He held no disdain in his heart for working class America and felt defensive of them when they came under the left's ruthless attacks. He believed America is the greatest country on earth that has ever been or will ever be, and wanted it to thrive as a loving, ethical Christian land. This is Charlie Kirk, the man who inspired a worldwide revival of faith, whose movement, as he hoped it would, will now long outlive him, who we lost to an assassin's bullet too soon and too violently at age 31. Loving husband to Erica, adoring father of a little girl and a baby boy, a son, a brother, a friend, and who does not deserve this scorn heaped upon him. Charlie, we've got your back. We know who you were, and we already miss you terribly.
This is not just a flash in the pan movement. We're going to become an institution to give them the power and the confidence to stand up and let their voice be heard.
I started this organization when I was 18 years old.
I decided not to go to college. I didn't get in my dream school, which was the United States Military Academy at West Point. I have this idea to galvanize and motivate the future youth of this country around a core set of ideas, not just political parties or politicians. And the ideas are really America's the greatest country in the history of the world. The Constitution is the greatest political document ever written, and free enterprise is the most assured way to lift people out of poverty and create prosperity for all. Those are the three big ideas. And I think that's something that can win.
This is the greatest generational realignment since Woodstock. This generation is the most conservative generation that we have seen in well over 50 years, and the numbers show it. What young people especially are screaming at is they say, give me a structure that I can live my life by. And especially with young men, more challenging of them, more saying, you know what, honestly, I'm not gonna talk down to you. Stop being a boy and become a man. You want to learn what that means? Come to church and I'll tell you what it means to become a man. Because we have the greatest story ever told. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day, because you are doing the work to save this beautiful republic. You are doing something that is bigger than you.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.